Hello, friend. I know why you listen to Adventures in Design. You listen because you're a worker, you're a builder, you're a maker, you're a creator. And that kind of work, you do it alone. You want a bud there with you. So listen to me, Bud Brickley. That's right, your pal on the podcast. Imagine what you could do with Jack Prince to get you more work, okay? I'll explain how. The holidays are rapidly approaching for designers because we have to get our designs done, we have to get our orders in, we have to pack, we have to ship. So just imagine with all over printing, you can make minimum quantities of all over printed shirts, tank tops, ladies shirts, guy shirts, but you can even do something wild like tube socks, okay? Imagine if you took your design skills and you made socks, really cool socks. Maybe you design a little band to go around them. Maybe you put a postcard in the pack. Maybe you put a sticker in there. Look, you're going to get, you ready for this? Your foot in the door with your clients to kick off a great 2019. I really urge you, go over to Jack Prince, shop around, find a product that fits your design style, create a product this year, create a product this fall. You can sell half of them to your fan base, to your followers, and get back to even or profit. And then the other half, send them out to some of your clients you enjoyed with working this year, keep the channels of communication open, and then send the other half out to the people that you want to work with, right? And who's going to turn away a rad pair of design and printed free socks? Come on. It's your career we're talking about. Head over to jackprince.com, shop around, dream around, think about what you can do with your brand and your message, and save even more by going to jackprince.com/circle of trust.
You're listening to the AID Network.
Coming to you live from the Saul Rosenberg Studios, broadcasting worldwide into all ships at sea, here comes another action-packed episode of Adventures in Design.
Good morning and good design. Welcome. You have to talk right when I talk. Hey everybody, it's Shop Talk. I'm already in a bad mood because guess what? On the show is every Wednesday, little Billy Ballman. How you doing, little man?
Good. I got a secret for you.
All right, go ahead.
I forgot we were recording until you texted me, or until I saw your email come over 2 minutes ago.
That's okay. That's okay. I appreciate all that you've done for me in the show and how you fit it into your life, and that's sincere.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
My wife, on the other hand, is not happy. I should be doing the dishes right now.
The dishes can wait, Ann Benjamin. They can wait.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about dishes because if this gets played to my wife...
What if we could do the show while I'm doing dishes? Can you put some dish noises in here?
It would take us back to the old days when we could hear Ann doing dishes in the other room because we used to do it in the morning. Remember those days?
Yeah.
I also remember when Jim was like, yo, man, who's got the haunted house door in the house? And you're like, oh, it's me, our door squeaking. He goes, that's just disrespectful to your home, bro.
Well, I did WD-40 it, and we're good now.
After you got shamed into it. Billy, I have two things I want to say, and then we're going to play a game that'll figure out what we do today on the show. One, this is a two-parter. Thank you for your great illustration of Colin Kaepernick for last week's episode.
That's the best 30 minutes I'll give you.
It's great for 30 minutes. I couldn't do that in 3 hours. So then the other thing I would like to say is you fucked me because you made the image so big that there's no room for text anywhere on there. So what should have been easy for me, I struggled and I struggled trying to figure out where do I fit the shit.
You could have did an overlay kind of a thing and
gradient background. Halo around him, his blouse cut off in a weird thing at the bottom. You really put me in a tight spot. You know that there needs to be room for the information, and you fucked me.
How much? I mean, come on.
You fucked me, Billy. episode cover didn't get a response. I couldn't make it shocking. I couldn't grab people's attention. All that effort for nothing because you know nothing about design.
I know. Nobody cared.
That part's true.
Sorry.
That part's real true. And then the other thing I wanted to say is Billy Bobman will not be on the show next week.
Why is that?
Well, we'll be recording the logo show next week. Dan Stiles and I will be on here, but we'll have no Billy because we record this show on Wednesdays. And next Wednesday, today, for listeners, is Ann Benjamin's birthday.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do anything on her birthday.
Oh, well, then maybe you'll be here.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think she wants to do anything on her birthday. There she is peeking in right now.
Oh, Ann Benjamin.
Yeah, you could talk.
Yeah,
Why
bring
not?
her on in.
Come on,
bring
get
her on in.
podcast.
Yeah, bring her on in.
Come on.
Been a long time since I've seen her.
No, I don't. No, it's okay. I mean, there's dough, so you might as well make it. Might as well make a pizza.
Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing inside the life of two struggling middle-class illustrator designers raising a child. They do have dough, but it's not cash. It's in the freezer. Freezer.
In the freezer.
Rick pizza. All right, here's what we're going to play today, Billy. As you know, to try to monetize this, some things need to go to the circle of trust, and some things need to go to the free people. What goes to the free people should be a hook of like, oh man, this is so great. Let me pull out the credit card and support this. But they don't. And what goes in the circle of trust should be like, oh man, this is so great. I'm glad I signed up and I got to hear this. And the other people should be like, damn, I can't believe I'm missing that. But I still won't pull out my credit card and pay for it.
You don't know what you're missing if you don't ever hear it.
Exactly. So this is what I'm going to do. We have 3 topics to talk about tonight. I'm going to let you pick which 2 go into Free Jones and which one is COT.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay.
Hey guys, on the show today on Shop Talk, we've got these topics we'll be talking about. We got a response from our Gallery F conversation last week.
We did.
We also, I would like to talk to everybody about managing your expectations. I've been going out to a lot of big meetings and I've been interviewing some sort of intense people lately. And as I was driving to one of these, I started to think, where's your mind supposed to be before you go to a big meeting or you go to meet somebody important? Like, should you expect everything? Should you expect nothing? So I kind of went live. Or I did go live on Instagram and I said, hey, this is kind of where I'm at, but I feel like the contradiction to this thinking is this and this. How do you feel? And I had a handful of listeners write in and say some really, really great stuff that I want to share. And then the third option that I've planned for tonight is editorial illustrator Mark Knight raised a whole big shitstorm about his illustration over the tennis fight with Serena Williams.
Oh, yeah. I was just talking about that today.
Yeah. So we have that to talk about as well.
I want to let's save the Gallery F for the Circle of Trust because I think that's the most salacious.
You think that is what would get somebody to pull out their credit card is to listen to gossip? A shitstorm, if you will?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what people want to hear.
You think? All right, I will trust your opinion. I mean, I maybe would have said the managing expectations things because it's kind of like a how-to. It's like if I put money into this, maybe I'll be in a better spot. But if you think people will pay for gossip, like, I need that TMZ part of the show, then I'll trust you. I'll trust you, man, because obviously I don't know what I'm doing over here, so I will trust you. All right.
Obviously.
Let's do this. So what do you want to get into first? You want to get into the editorial illustration by Mark Knight, or do you want to talk about managing expectations?
Let's start managing expectations because I really have no idea where you're going with that one.
All right. So this is basically where I was at. I did an interview with a guy, Paul Conroy. Go listen to it. It's fantastic. Paul Conroy has been a mover and shaker in business. He's been somebody who's sort of been behind the scenes. Like the skateboarder, Rob Deirdrick, he was the CEO of Deirdre's corporation. So,
Okay.
he's active in getting TV shows going, managing the product line, managing Rob's influence. And now he works for the Green Guardians in the Galaxy, Zoe Salani or whatever her name is.
Oh, yeah.
And he works for Vans and Anheuser-Busch, and he just basically has a company called Plus Foundry, where they manage like people that have real influence, not social media influence. Like you're a celebrity, you have the ability to launch a hair product line. He's the guy that can sort of get in there and help you do it. He's got a ton of success, very successful guy. So when I go and meet somebody like that to interview him, obviously there's this little thing in the back of my head of like, well, what if he identifies my business as a potential? What if he sees a potential in me? Or what if he says, hey, I work with Vans. Mark would be a really great consultant to hire to show Vans how to tell their story through podcasting.
You're like one of those guys that sings to himself on the subway
Yes.
at full volume.
Yes. Hoping that somebody hears me.
Someone's going to hear me.
Yeah. But then in a flip side, a couple weeks ago, last Thursday's episode, I interviewed Channing Dungey, who is the president of entertainment for ABC. So once again, I'm sitting across from somebody that if she saw a kernel of potential in me, she could be like, maybe this guy would be good for something. I mean, she's a kingmaker in the entertainment industry. I'm a fucking peasant in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And then I was going...
But let me pause you for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just giving you the setup.
I understand. But you can't go into these things... I think you have to be kind of upfront, not pushy, but you say at the end of the thing, hey man, I really love what you do, yada yada. I'd love to work with you in some capacity. Keep me in mind. You can't just be like, okay, see ya. Oh,
I don't do that. I don't do that. I throw a Hail Mary at the end of all of these. But getting back to my setup, this Monday, when I put this up on stories, I was going to visit somebody, and I wanted to sort of pitch them where I see the future of the podcast going and how I wanted to have them become more of a part of things and sort of help me maybe elevate the guest list for this new podcast series that I want to launch in January.
That's strange because you haven't consulted me at all.
Well, you interrupt too much. That's part of the problem. I never get the pitch out because you tell me why the pitch was wrong before I even told you what it was. So, and then I also have an upcoming thing where I'm talking to a network about something kind of wacky. So my thing is this.
Oh, is it that Pornhub deal?
Yes, it's finally going through.
Excellent.
Doppelganger, where you can type in the person that you want to masturbate to and somebody will pop up that looks like them. Doppelganger.com. Boom.
It could be all in code.
What do you mean all in code?
Like you type in the name and then the code, it's all automated, right? So it's not it's always the same person, but it's like digitally. No, it's right.
I'm not
face swaps it.
I don't want a cartoon. I want a real person. All right. So, anyways, we're off topic here. So the thing that I brought up though was this. The meeting I was going to was actually a meeting where the person knew that I was going to be pitching them an idea and would they want to participate. And I had 3 of those this week. But the other things are you're putting yourself in the room, you're putting yourself in the game, and now Paul Conroy knows who I am. He knows I'm good at my job, and maybe one day that'll pay off. And Channing Dungey
we don't know that he knows you're good at your job.
Channing Dungey at ABC, she knows who I am, she knows what I do, and her crew. Like that recording has to get sent over to people at ABC. They have to listen to it, they have to approve it, and they're like, "This is really entertaining." One woman didn't download the whole thing. She goes, "I only got the first 26 minutes, and I have to hear the second half. Like, can you please give me the other half of it?"
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's nice. When somebody wrote me back from PR or legal, they were like, they actually made an inside joke from the episode. So I knew that they listened.
They listened to it.
Right. So here's the thing. Like, I'm getting out there, I'm talking to people, and this is just a quick summary of where I'm at, but it kind of got me going through this. Okay. And I'm going to give you 3 options, 3 sort of baseline options, and then we'll discuss that and hear from the audience. But I kind of thought about this. There's 3 ways you could go, right? And I'm always torn on which way I should get my mindset.
Yeah.
The first one, the most ambitious one, is vision. It's going to happen. I once read that
The Secret.
I want, well, a lot of people say that if you envision things are going to happen for you, you put out that confidence, you sort of like will it and it happens. And I once read an interview, and it's always stuck with me. Somebody asked Tony Hawk, how do you invent these insane tricks on the half pipe when you're skateboarding? And he said, I think about it. I think about, could it be possible? And then I just drop in. And in my mind's eye, I see me doing it as I do it. Like I visualize that it's going to happen, and it happens. It helps me get there. It helps me land it. It helped me basically invent some of the tricks I do. So if you vision it's going to happen, I think the pro to that is it's going to give you confidence. You can sell yourself better because you already think it's a done deal.
Yeah.
The con, you will feel let down if it doesn't happen because you thought that it already did happen.
Of course. You know, there's a parallel to illustration and design to that.
Okay.
Because when I'm driving my car, I'm walking down the street, or I'm lying in bed or whatever, and I see something, I actually visualize myself doing that thing, right? Yeah. Or I'm actually visualizing how my executional process step by step.
Yeah.
Right. So then when I'm actually behind the computer, I actually have the confidence and I have a plan put into place. I know it's a little different than what you're talking about, but I think it's this whole visualization thing. It's more than just picturing yourself doing something to give you confidence, though it is.
I agree.
I think it also gives you an action plan, right? And it's almost like you're able to practice before the real thing happens.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I taught, you're absolutely right, because as a designer and illustrator, I never just got to my computer and said, what am I going to do with this job? Like the math was already done. And when you sit down, it's like, now it's time for execution. Because I thought about it, driving the car, walking the dog, falling asleep at night. I've started doing a thing where before I interview somebody, I think, what do I want the tone of that conversation to be? What do I want the takeaway to be? And so I sit in the seat across from them knowing what I want that to be. And I like get my mind and my energy at that level of how I want that to
negatively?
go. Well, here's the thing. You have to always be willing, because you don't ever know the other person's temperament.
Yeah.
You don't know that their talent on talking. So you always have to be prepared to pivot. But one of the early things that I recognize in this job is some people you can't rein in, you can't control them. So you just have to abandon your notes and follow them.
Yeah. Are you talking about me?
Is that why you raised your hand?
No.
So the other thing that I thought was this. The other mindset, which is sort of the middle ground, expect the worst, hope for the best. Now, the pro on this one is you've hedged your bets. You know, if it doesn't happen, well, you were expecting it wouldn't happen. But if it does happen, you were hoping that it would. And the con of expecting the worst, hoping for the best, is you may actually give off a negative vibe that you're not aware of, because you're kind of like, I don't really expect this to happen anyways. Yeah,
there's a nonchalantness.
Yeah. So, I mean, that could be cool, because maybe then you don't seem so eager or so overconfident or desperate. So that one's middle ground. And then the last one that I came up with, which is far opposite of vision it's going to happen, is expect nothing. Just don't expect anything. Pro, you expect to leave unchanged. Con, your heart's not into it, and you're not really willing to fight for it if you don't expect for it to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking awkward sometimes at the end of an interview when I meet somebody that's a big fucking deal and I go, hey, Paul, just so you know, man, if you ever needed to use me for any of your clients, or if you want to get into podcasting, whatever, man, like, I'm available. I can interview your people. You know, like, it's awkward to fucking fit that in at the end. And I always worry, do they go, motherfucker, he just talked to me for 90 minutes to try to get his foot in the door, but that's playing the game, kid.
I mean, everyone's trying to get their foot in the door anywhere. I don't blame anyone for trying.
Right.
You know, it's interesting. You have these three ways you could think about it, but honestly, I found that you kind of entertain all three of these in your brain at the same time.
Yes, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
On any given day, I could be any one of these people.
Yeah. Well, but you could even just be, I don't know, you can hold them simultaneously, you know?
It's true.
Something that happens to me, I'm I'm typically very negative when it comes to like landing new projects or clients or something like that. Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yes. But one thing that still kind of gets me is we did Renegade Craft Fair last weekend.
Right. How'd it go?
And it went okay. Nothing. It was average.
Yeah.
And
did you bump into any old friends or anything?
A couple. Yeah. But
did you mend any fences or anything?
Oh yeah, I ran into Sean Mort. That's right.
Intellectually dishonest Sean Mort?
The intellectually dishonest Sean Mort.
Coming soon to our web store, intellectually dishonest brooch for your blouse.
Awesome.
Show the world that you're not trustworthy. PinkGameStrong.com.
But with how much money you're gonna make. Right?
Oh, yes.
And you know this game.
Oh,
you go to Austin flat stock and you're like, okay, if we got a good weekend, we could do X amount of dollars, right? And if you don't make that X amount of dollars, and your buddy makes twice X,
yep,
double X, that can be a real blow. And it takes a long time to learn to be like, I make what I make. We'll do what we do, and we'll learn what we learn. You know
I'm
what
out
I mean?
of the game. I'm out of the game, so I don't mind. If I walked with less than $5,000, I was furious that I didn't make $5,000.
We didn't do 5 this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm out of the game, but I'm glad that I smoked your numbers out of you. No, the going into an event and having the mental number in your head, I guess it's good because it can project you towards that, but it feels defeating. And then you start doing the math of like, we now need to make $300 an hour every hour to get to this point that I wanted to hit.
Yeah.
I mean, when you make a lot, nothing can stop you. You're on top of planet Earth. When you fall short and you have a bad event and you feel like you're spending more than you're making, nothing sucks more. You just want to snap your fingers and be back in your living room and be done with it.
Yeah. But it all comes back to those expectations.
Yes,
right?
It does.
And how that can really affect, just your mindset can really affect how your weekend goes.
Yeah.
You could make 5,000 and feel really great about it, or you can make 5,000 and feel really bad about it. You know what I mean?
I have never felt bad making 5Gs.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's all dependent on your mindset. So continue.
So that's what I laid out, and I'm always, I know different people that have different mindsets, and it really seems to work for them, and they do a good job of portraying only one of these mindsets. But for me, I can never wrap my mind around, do I go into this thinking it's all going to happen and project that, but then feel just utterly disappointed when the interview's done and like, all right, get out of my office later? Or it's so hard to figure where you want to be at. So this is what the audience said back to me.
Okay.
This one's a little bit long because it's an email, but
is it Rob?
No, it's not Rob. He brings up some good points. This is done by Saturday. His name's John. He's just a fantastic Circle of Trust member. He says, when I go into a meeting, I try to just project me. I don't worry about projecting success or not. Every time I've gone into a meeting thinking this is it, inevitably it isn't. And the meetings that sneak up on me are the ones that bring the most change. Honestly, in those settings, I want people to buy into me, into where I'm at, and into who I am. I don't even think about, is it going in? I don't even think about it going in and expecting the best or preparing for the worst. I prefer to prepare all I can for the meeting, know what I need to know, and then see what happens. But to be honest, I don't personally subscribe to the project success mindset. For me, that can turn into a trap that just feeds insecurity. I can project success, but then spend the whole rest of the meeting thinking, what if they find out I'm not as successful as I'm projecting? Interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, it's Jason does the whole project success stuff in meetings.
Yeah.
And I kind of just like, oh, Jesus Christ. It's just, it comes off as phony to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know the truth. I don't know. I mean, this guy sounds like the fucking Buddha, right? He's got it all figured out.
He says it's just exhausting. I want the person on the other end of the table to buy into me. not the image that I project.
Sure.
I think I hear the most on your show when an interviewee comes in and is 100% real, or as far as we can tell. They don't project where they want to be. They don't try to sound bigger than they are. They just show up and talk. That's the kind of dude I buy into and want to support.
That's why that's why 20% of the people like me on the podcast.
That's exactly how it got that
I'm
point.
real.
I mean,
sometimes you being real though is not likable.
See, I think that I think that Done by Saturday brings up a good point.
Yeah.
But he's missed my point, which is not how do I project myself, but how do I get my mindset on the expectations?
Yeah. Well, he seems to have it. He seems to say that he's gotten past that point, and he tries to say, I'm just going to focus on presenting my true self and have no expectations, and the successes will be successes and the failures will be failures, and all I can control is myself, right? Which is good advice, but I think it's easier said than done, because you always have expectations. You're always going to be driving in the car or falling asleep and go, oh, what if so-and-so from ABC, what if she emails me next week and offers me an online deal or whatever, right? I mean,
or what if they want a man on the street for Jimmy Kimmel, like that? She's his boss. You know what I mean? Like, you're in that kind of a room, and listen, guys, like, by all means, none of this is going to happen. It's pie in the sky, but if you're in the room, you got a 1% chance.
Yeah, but also it's how can you prevent yourself from fantasizing?
Yes, if you don't fantasize, then what's the fucking point?
I fantasize about winning the lottery, but I've never bought a lottery ticket in my life. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, but I could still fantasize about it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great advice if you can truly live it.
Oh, you're saying he's a fucking liar?
No, I don't think he's a liar, but I think I think when he was saying people like to project their successful best selves, I think he's projecting his successful best self right now.
Oh, called out, DBS. Called the fuck out. No, I mean, I get what he's saying. Like, what's kind of interesting about some of the situations I get into is obviously I'm projecting my best self because I'm doing my job. Like, I'm doing what I think that I'm the best at, and trying to really, I'm always trying to impress the person that's sitting across from me. Like, I live for when I hit stop, they're like, that was fun. That was great. I love when somebody's like, that's a great question. Yeah. I don't know. What is the answer to that? Let's figure it out. So I get what he's saying, but yeah, I think maybe easier said than done to just like not worry about it at all, because I mean, it's my fucking life, and I'm only getting older.
I will say this: you're hardly ever phony, Mark.
Thank you.
The only time you were phony was when you did the VO for your vlog.
Thank you. Here we go.
Can't take criticism. I see.
No, it's fine. I just don't want to be here all day while you whip the shit out of me. Lane Martin 24 writes in and says, going with your live posts, personally, I go into meetings with hope. However, I don't place expectation. My thinking behind that is when you expect certain things, you don't think you have to earn them. I'm totally disagreeing with her on that one. I go into meetings hopeful, and if the shoe fits, great. If not, something better is coming soon, but keep working hard and being hopeful. I think expectancy before agreeing on anything become unhealthy. Just my 2 cents, if it's worth anything. I don't think, hold on, what did she say here? Unlock phone, see my face. When you expect certain things, you don't think you have to earn them.
That's an interesting idea. I think that's the most interesting part of her email.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, if I go into a meeting, my only expectation would be that they would maybe see potential in me, but by no means do I think that I wouldn't have to earn whatever they put on the table. Like, I believe you got to work hard for it. Like, whatever they would throw at me, I'm like, yes, I will fucking kill myself. I appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah.
I will rise to the challenge you've just given me.
Maybe a better way to put it is not really earn, but the expectation for, like, example. How come so-and-so has 30,000 Instagram followers? I'm as good as they are.
Oh, you can't get into that. Yeah.
Don't I deserve 30,000?
No. But she says, my thinking behind it is when you expect certain things, you don't think that you have to earn them. I don't know. Lane, I appreciate it. It's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I disagree. I mean, for me personally, I don't think that... I think you're getting the expectations part. Well, maybe we have a difference in opinion on expectations. It's like the expectations of, like, could this person grant me something? Could they see a potential in me? Not, they're going to give me a sack of money because I fucking deserve it.
Yeah. Don't they know who I am?
No, never that mindset whatsoever. But hey, that's a really great way to look at it. Thank you, Lane Martin 24 over on the Gramburger. Eric Ottinger writes in and says, always be excited for the opportunity, but never expect anything. I have an open mind of let's see what can happen. If something great comes of it, great. If nothing comes of it, you're no worse off than before the meeting and have likely learned something along the way.
See, this is sort of the same advice again, but it's like what I'm saying is as humans, it's impossible not to get your hopes up at times a little bit. And not only that, I don't think it's bad to get your hopes up sometimes a little bit. No. You know, I mean, don't go overboard. Don't be privileged or whatever.
Beth, I just put money down on a Tesla because I know this meeting's going to go great. Could you imagine? Could you imagine being that dickhead?
Yeah.
Sith Lord 32. All right, we've got a Sith Lord in here. This is going to be the knowledge we're looking for. In my opinion, your standard outlook or approach is on point. Some say plan for the worst, hope for the best. This is my outlook but with a catch-all. A small change in wordplay. Plan for the best, deal with the worst. Interesting. Just got to stay positive and open to chance and change and always go for it. Hoping for the best and planning for the worst is a small admittance of failure before you even get the ball rolling. See, that's what I'm worried about on the, I'm going to hope for the best but expect the worst. Like, I feel like you might be leaving a little bit of yourself on the table. That's like, well, I'd like for them to pick me for their kickball team, but nobody likes me.
Have you ever done anything creative out of spite? Like, I'm going to prove them wrong.
Not really a spiteful person in that way.
Yeah.
I take my spite out. Like, there's people that I hate. There's people that professionally completely annoy me. And I never do anything deliberately mean to them. I just get meaner to myself. I just say, why don't you work as hard as that person? Why don't you rise to their level? And then I also try not to ever really talk about them and not like help them out at all. But that's like a passive.
Well, the thing is, the reason I bring it up is because everyone's saying you got to have a positive outlook, keep a positive attitude, and that will be your motivation to keep going. But this is a Sith Lord we have right here. So maybe it would make more sense, not make more sense, but what is there any value in working angry? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that next time. I'm going to go into a meeting. I'm going to go into an interview with somebody who's mega important and just be fucking pissed off. Just treat them like shit. I just mean
in the creation of the actual art or
whatever. Do it mad.
Do it mad.
The Michael Faith from the Ohio University. I don't know that part, but I just like that he has the in his name.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to your train of thought here, but I tend to go into most things with no expectations at all. He typed that in there. Not good expectations nor bad expectations. I don't expect anything, and I just do the best I can with what I have control of. That's all you really can do. That's certainly a more Buddhist approach as well. Live in the moment, make the best choices you can with the information you have, and trust that things will happen how they are meant to. And then he wrote, how did it go?
Everyone who listens to the show is so well, they're so solid. They're solid people. They've already become one with the universe.
Yeah, why the fuck do they listen to this show?
Yeah, I don't
just
know.
old pissed off guys like, when's it gonna happen for me?
But a lot of that sounds just like repeated best practices stuff they've heard before and that we've all heard.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But what happens when the shit gets real? Right?
Yeah. When you put 7 strangers in a house, what happens when people stop being fake and start being real? It's the real world. Chicago. It's the real world. Louisville Beach.
Yeah. I mean, let's go back to Renegade. I had no expectations, but I still was disappointed that we didn't do as much. Just a little.
Yeah, of course.
You know? How can I not be? It's impossible. We're humans, man.
This is the thing that I have started. Okay, so 2 different thoughts. If it's an interview with somebody important, my expectation at this moment in my life is I expect to impress them. I expect to give them a good time, a good interview, and for them to see my hard work and for them to get good feedback from my audience. That's what I expect going in.
Even with that haircut?
Even with this haircut. My hope is that I will have made such a mark on them that, that they will keep me within their network and they will maybe think about me and that I can keep an open communication and at some other time bring them back on or ask them for another favor, ask them to introduce me to somebody or be like, hey, can you get me into fucking Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opening because you work for Disney ABC? Yeah. Come on. Remember the solid that I did you? So that's where it's at. I do not go in expecting I'm going to walk out with a big fucking contract and be like, I know Jimmy Kimmel comes on after me. You know what I mean? Like you don't expect that, but you just, I hope to make a good mark.
Yeah. Here's the dichotomy and the issue that I'm having right now.
Go ahead.
The dichotomy is what we've been talking about for the last 5 years to everybody you've interviewed. They've all have had one thing in common, I think. They've been passionate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to give it 100%. You got to give it your all. You got to be passionate. You gotta cry when the shit goes down. You got to cheer when it goes great. Right? I know. But what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying, Mark?
Yeah.
To be passionate, to have the drive, to be frustrated all the time because your artwork is not good enough or because you're always striving to be better and you have that passion to never quit and never die, that is a complete opposite than this Buddhist idea of want for nothing.
Yeah.
And never be disappointed. How can you be passionate and live and die for this stuff and not get disappointed? I'm saying get disappointed because you are passionate and you have to have that passion to fucking achieve something. You know what I'm saying?
You're fucking right, Billy, because when these people listen to this show, if all the stories that they heard on this show was like, I just went through life not expecting anything. Yeah. Like all the motherfuckers that sit across from me have taken life by the balls and expected that the world would see their full potential.
That's what life is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
get in the game.
Point. That's the point. Get fucking disappointed. Get your heart broken. Fucking try. Right? Put yourself out there and fail and fail and fail until you don't fail. So
many times I leave an interview and I just get into the car and I get away from the person and I feel like that scene in Boogie Nights when he tries to suck the guy's dick and the guy's like, no, I'm straight. And he's like, I'm fucking stupid. I'm so fucking stupid. I hate me. I hate me. I'm so fucking stupid. R.I.P. Philip Seymour Hoffman. But, you know, there's another part of my life where it's an actual meeting and there's something on the table and it's not just basically like an audition for me as a human. Yeah. And in those meetings, I've now set my expectations to, I just want to leave the meeting with the person on the other side of the table to understand what I'm pitching them, to understand the concept, and for them to see my vision. And even if they don't want to be a part of it, they at least understand it. They know what it is, and it's cooking in the back of their head where they might be like, oh, Bricky should talk to this guy. You know what I mean? Like, you can't expect everybody to buy your idea, but if they can understand it, that's a big win. And it gets you going the way that you want to go.
Yeah. And, I think the life of and I'm going to use the big A word here, the life of an artist, alcoholic, is kind of hard work, disappointment, frustration, and struggle. And then you have these glorious moments of success that last for a brief moment.
Right. Flash in the pan.
Right. And you're just chasing, whether that is getting a poster done and you're really happy with it, whether that's landing that next job, whether that's, it's just about the completion of leveling up. Let's call it leveling up.
You are so leveling up process. Right. Because guess what? There was a time in my life when I said, if I could just do the podcast as my full-time job, I would just be so happy and I would never ask for anything else. Now I have that. And all I'm consumed with is making 5 times as much money and moving on into something bigger. That's all I'm consumed
level up.
With.
It's fine. It'll make you miserable.
I can't sleep at night because I just want more out of life. Slap me, Billy. Slap me. Get me going. Slap me. Come on. Slap me.
But what I'm saying is, what's wrong with that? Yes. Yes. Mark, I'm not gay.
God, that feels so fucking stupid.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I do think that there's value in the Buddha and that whole idea of, I think there's great value in it. And it is probably the way to enlightenment. And yes, I totally get it. But I choose a different path. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be fucking miserable because I want to try to level up. Okay. And I think it's okay.
Yeah, so Dan Culkin is he's just like one of these millennial assholes, right? Like, he's got his mind in the right spot and he visions winning and the kid wins all the time. And as his old brother that he never asked for, I'm always just like, how does this kid keep winning? And God bless him. I love him for doing it. But he gives me shit sometimes from a place of love. He goes, man, he's like, every time you do something, you put these crazy expectations on yourself that this is going to be the thing that changes the world. And when it doesn't, you're constantly disappointed. And I always appreciate that it's coming from a place of brotherly love, and Dan and I are super close. And I understand he's just basically saying like, hey man, I love you. I hate to see you torture yourself and break your own heart.
Yeah.
But to him, I always say, what's the fucking point of doing something if you don't think it's going to be the thing that takes you to the moon and back?
Exactly.
Yeah, Dan.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's an interesting, we could have someone on here that could really argue for the other side, and I would totally, and it would be a good argument.
Seats taken.
And I think there's value in it, but yeah.
No, I appreciate everybody who wrote me, and it was very, very sweet. And I appreciate, their mindset of, I think a lot of times it's like you write what you hope that you do. Like that's their game plan. When they get in the room, and if they're in a real big situation, their game plan might shift. But I really appreciate them sharing that. And I also appreciate them allowing us the moment to sort of like dissect that, figure out like, is that the real truth? Is that the way that we should think? Like I love having a discussion like this, and I love it even more when the audience is involved. So thank you so much. I take a break from Shop Talk to inform you that my pin game is getting stronger and stronger by the day. But how strong is your pin game, I ask you? Do you have an armor of pins on your jacket to protect you? Can you provide your customers, your followers, your clients with armor of pins to protect you? There's a war on the streets, and the streets are fighting this war with pins. Get your pin game strong right now by going to pingamestrong.com. My friend Greg will hook you up. Tell him Circle of Trust. Tell him AID. Tell them you heard it on this show, and see those already super low prices with no hidden fees, no shipping. What you see on the site is what you pay, and you, my friend, because you're fighting the pin game with me. You're part of my tribe. We're battling together. We're warriors. We're in the same pin tune. That works. Your pins will be even cheaper from listening to this show. And let me tell you, I know sometimes you want to make stuff, you get behind, things are crazy. I got 2 pins that are in the order right now. Greg's so good at his job, he was able to send back a mock-up and be like, this is how this one should look. This part's recessed, this part's raised. Boom, done. And the other one, I was able to just send him a screenshot. I didn't have to go dig out the Illustrator file. I had a high-quality screenshot, able to convert it over to a pin, able to put the pass around it, and the pin is in the process of being made to fight what? You know what? The pin war. The holy pin war. It's coming to you. Are you ready to fight it? PinGameStrong.com. That's your bros and pins. New AID pins coming soon. There's a pin war, and we are not going to lose. PinGameStrong.what.com. We now return to our nonsense with Billy Bauman. Let's move over to suspected racist illustrator Mark Knight.
I need to Google this illustration really fast so I can talk about it.
An Australian artist, racist Serena Williams cartoon receives swift and international blowback. Okay, first thought is this. He's Australian. So America has a different relationship with race than any other civilized country. Like, if you go to Europe, and all my European friends, they are way more chill about race, which allows them to say things that would be inappropriate in the U.S. because they don't have the weirdness that we have over here. They don't have the guilt of slavery riding on their shoulders.
They have the guilt, though. They have a lot of guilt in Australia, though. They have had a lot of issues with the indigenous peoples.
The Aborigines?
Oh, yeah. I think they call them indigenous or something.
Oh, sorry. I just said the A word.
Maybe. But yes, that's a huge thing. Now, okay, I'm looking at this cartoon right now.
So he's Australian, so that's one factor. But I'm pulling all this from the Washington Post. Amazon's failing Washington Post fake news, okay? For the second time in a month. Oh, now we're getting someplace. For the second time in a month, Australian cartoonist Mark Knight of Melbourne's Herald Sun is coming under fire for how he renders black people. Now, if it was one time, I would say he's a fucking foreigner. He doesn't understand the culture. He got it wrong. He doesn't know our history. But twice in a month, where there's smoke, there's fire, my friend.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Okay. This is actually interesting. I had an interesting conversation about the incident with Ann's brother, who is a tennis pro at like a tennis club.
He's also a man of color.
I guess he's like half Iraqi. So I guess that's sort of just because he talks about it in the tennis circles, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think you've seen a lot online of people going, oh, what about John McEnroe? What about all these other men that throw fits? And the thing is like, John McEnroe was derided. I mean, it was a spectacle, but people were like, what the fuck, John McEnroe? You got to stop this, right? It's not like people thought it was cool. I mean, it's kind of funny.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the bad thing about John McEnroe is that with the space between it, he's now kind of celebrated for it. And it's kind of funny, and it's like times were wild. Like, when Bobby Knight threw the chair, people were like, he's a dickhead. Now it's kind of funny that he threw the chair, and it becomes like a meme, or it becomes part of pop culture.
But we're old enough to remember John McEnroe.
100%. He was a fucking hothead. He was a maniac.
He was a hothead maniac, and people talk shit about it. Now, what's interesting is, I saw this other video just a couple of weeks ago, or like a week ago, at the same tournament. A tennis player kicked this like piece of wood that one of the judges was sitting behind, and it broke and smashed into the guy's shin. And they showed this video like, oh, nothing happens to the men. But that guy, not only did he lose a point, he lost the whole match because that happened.
Yeah.
They said, okay, we're stopping the match. This is I forget what a major foul. I just made that up.
Yeah.
But he lost the match. He had to forfeit because he did that. Right. So, And what's really interesting is the foul that they called her on. Apparently, after the match, the coach admitted that he did create the foul. The coaching. You're not allowed to coach from the stands.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The coach apparently admitted it.
And,
okay.
And his alibi was everybody else does it, which as a parent, you can't let that slide. If everybody else is jumping off the bridge,
he also said that the judge, the umpire in this one,
the line judge,
he is a dick. He is a dick.
Okay.
So he has a history of being a total douche, right? Okay. So that being said, I think some of the criticism from the left about we shouldn't criticize Serena for having a fit like this because we let men do it. I think that's a false narrative, right? Yeah. I think the only reason that this made such big news is because one, it was in a final.
Yeah.
And two, she's the most accomplished tennis player of all fucking time.
Okay. So
if it happens to Joe Schmo, no one cares.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. So this is where I think that it gets wild and out of control. And at home, you're going to have to forgive me what I'm going to say, but I'm just giving you my life experience. She's fucking mad. She's irate. And you're supposed to be as an athlete. You know what I mean? Like, it means the world to her.
She has to be passionate.
You have to be passionate, like we're talking about earlier. And that woman has fought her whole fucking life. And nobody is more celebrated than her. So she's mad. She's irate. That's all fine. But I think that she might have gone into the "you're doing this because I'm a woman" thing a little bit too fast. She might have came in a little bit too hot. And what I would, even though I know that women aren't always treated fairly, we're all coming aware of that. She has won a lot. I mean, if this has been an obstacle for her, then she's even more amazing than we know because she's been able to rise over this challenge time and time and time again. And what it reminds me of, and this is where it gets awkward for everybody, but in my high school that I went to, I probably heard 15, 20 times a day, kids to a teacher, "You're just giving me a hard time because I'm black." And it's like, no, you just didn't bring your fucking English book to class. It has nothing to do with it. But I heard that so many times that I became numb to it because it was literally like all the time that gets pulled out to sort of put a wedge between the teacher and to see, can I use something here to my advantage? And hey, I understand there's a lot of shit that comes with certain things. So whatever you can use it for, you, more power to you. But I think she might have went into the cultural narrative a little bit quick, right? Like, you're doing this to me because I'm a woman. And what makes her look really bad in this situation is that if this happened out on the football field and you go up to an umpire or a referee and you're like, "Hey, what the fuck, man? Why are you doing this to me? You're singling me out here on the field because I'm a black guy." There's 80,000 people screaming and nobody hears it. In a tennis match, you can't hear a fucking thing. That dude is chill as possible in the chair. So anything makes you look a little bit crazy. You come in that hot, that fast, you look aggressive. And it's unfortunate to her because in any other sport, there'd be so much noise and chaos going on that you're like, whoa, LeBron's really pissed. Like, it's silent.
Yeah, of course. This, have you ever seen a baseball coach yell at an umpire?
Oh,
that goes nuts.
But in the stands, there's probably 40,000 people at a baseball game. So it's just like, oh, there he goes. He's losing his shit. And, this is a sport of gentlemen and ladies. So any sort of acting up is already frowned upon. That being said, I understand that she's mad. And getting over to this illustration, here's what's fucked up about this illustration.
Yeah.
There's even more so that they made her look, pretty racist, I'd say. The lips.
Yeah, man. It's
the head hunter, the sort of the almost the hair going
head. The shrunken head kind of thing.
Yeah. And also the hair going up is kind of like the African pickaninny joke that would be in the old Bugs Bunny cartoons. It's pretty brutal. It's way out of bounds.
How could you? Okay.
But there's something else that's even more fucked up.
You could have this same cartoon. I could redraw this cartoon and put John McEnroe in there.
Yeah.
Right. Man, it wouldn't be. People wouldn't care about it.
Well, no, because he's a man And he's a white man, and he comes from a place of privilege.
Exactly. But also, there's not like, you can't, there's nothing, there's no like,
there's
really
not a history.
hurtful.
There's not a history.
But there's no history, but there's also no real stereotypical ways of drawing a white guy that are like really insulting.
This illustration pulls from an ancestry of artistic cues to degrade black people.
So let me ask you this challenge. Let's say you want to do this cartoon
of her throwing a fit.
Her throwing a fit, and the ump saying, "Can you just let her win?" Right? Yep. It's not that funny. The only thing that is meant to be funny is the drawing of her throwing a fit. There's a baby. What I'm saying, can you draw? Can you do it at all without it looking racist?
Yes, I could.
Okay.
You want me to pitch it to you right now?
I'm sure you can. But no, let me hear it. Yeah.
Here's how you do it. First off, get it all out in the open. I think that she is one of the most attractive women I've ever seen in my life. Like, I love her, the build of her. Like, I find her and her sister just to be like total Amazon princesses. So what I would do is I would draw her looking a little bit younger, with her hair behind her head, not up like a shrunken head. Yeah. And what I would do is she had that skirt on to make the skirt look a little bit more like a tutu. I'd maybe put the pacifier in her mouth, and maybe make her look like a baby. Now, if you make her look like a cute, innocent baby that's whining, that has nothing to do with her being black. She could be any fucking race in the world, and you're just saying, whoa, she was a baby. This guy went to a style guide of racism in this illustration. Yeah. The lips, the nose, the eyes, the shape of the head, the hair, and also she's got a fantastic build, but this really makes her look aggressive. And one might say that this is a animal type pose. Like that these arms are like something that you might see a gorilla do. And I don't want to say that, but that's what it suggests to me.
That never occurred to me. I think that's a good solution. I think what you did, you baby fire more, right?
Right. And then I also objectified her in the process. So
good job.
I'm a bad person.
But okay, before we get too far, before people start objectifying to us, I do feel that Serena has faced like racism issues in the tennis world, in tennis media coverage and stuff like that.
Of course. Her whole life
that is an issue. And that is why this is all not only the history of race relations in the United States and the illustrations that we used in the past to depict African Americans. Not only that, but the reality of the struggles that she has, even though she is the most accomplished women's player or probably player period of all time.
She's probably the most winning female athlete in recorded history.
I think athlete.
Yeah. No, athlete? Yeah. Just I think so. Gender beyond that? Yeah. Like she's won more than anybody at her sport?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, that's amazing. She's from Compton.
Yeah. But... So given knowing that she has been unfairly criticized in the past all the time for things, it makes even a non-racist illustration caricature of her iffy.
Because she's had to deal with so much conflict.
It's a tightrope. It's a tightrope for an artist. I'm taking from the artist standpoint.
Right.
It's a really tightrope from an artist standpoint.
What you do is you go the opposite. You know, here's the thing. If you're an illustrator, you know the cultural boundaries. Like, for example, and I'm not the world's greatest illustrator, but when I did that children's book and the drummer was like a 12-year-old girl, like I really worked hard to suggest that she had breasts but to not make them over sexualized, right? She's a little girl in a band, and I worked really, really hard, and I worked with Beth, and I'm like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Because I didn't want to put a giant rack on a young girl. I also didn't want to put no boobs on her because then she would look like a guy. Like, I wanted my niece to be able to look at it and be like, oh, cool, the drummer's a girl, and not have it go anywhere beyond that. Like, we all know that the lips are getting too thick. We know that the face is getting too pointy. Like, this is like a Donkey Kong pose. You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, even if you wanted to show her jumping up and down on the racket, you could have done it in a different way. And here's the number one thing that makes this real fucked up. The other tennis player that's talking to the line judge, she is Asian with dark colored hair. In this illustration, she looks like a blonde valley girl from California. So he has really stacked the entire narrative up against Serena Williams.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if this guy was under 50 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll tell you
The artist.
Every single one of his social media accounts have gone private because he got lit the fuck up. I mean, thousands of comments of people giving him shit for this. So he put up the old lock and locked everybody out. I wonder, I mean, did you look at any of his other work?
No, I didn't.
I mean, I will say this, you know, just to sort of keep the conversation interesting and keep it fair, even though I do believe that this is poor career decisions, and I do believe that he leaned into racism when he clearly could have leaned out of it. His other illustrations are in this same, like, this is his style, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but the narrative on this one is really off. But I think the thing that really, like, makes it all crazy is the artistic decisions that he made with Serena to lean into racism, and then with her opponent to lean into, like, a purification and make her seem like just, you know, like Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Like, what's going through your mind, Mark Knight?
Oh, Mark Knight, you need to go into sensitivity training, okay?
Mark Knight is an Australian cartoonist. Pulling up his Wikipedia here. Let's see if we can get that age on him, because I do think that that's important.
Yeah.
Born in the 60s.
Yeah.
So that makes him in his 50s.
That old, though.
Old enough to know better.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Jesus. Yeah.
I mean, that would be my opinion, that he is definitely old enough to know better. And I mean, here's the thing where I think that he really fucked himself is just how far he went with her and how far he went with her Asian opponent. Well, I believe she's Asian. I don't know that for sure.
She's half. She's half Japanese, half Haitian.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that we could get everybody's exact DNA build up so that we could do this perfectly. This is the thing. I wonder if Serena regrets anything. Normally, she's like, has on like the raddest outfits. I did not like that one brown shoulder she was wearing. So now that this is going to probably be like a very big defining moment in our history and everything that everybody remembers, I wonder if she's like, fuck, why did I wear the half brown outfit that day? I didn't look my best.
Jesus.
I have seen her afterwards, though, be a good sport and say, hey, I'm happy for my opponent. This is her win.
Yes,
you know, I mean, she got into the moment. My only critique at all was maybe she got a little bit too hot, a little bit too fast with the narrative. That's my only critique, but that's also coming from my background. I've seen people go there really, really fast, and if you go there too much and you cry it too much, it can sometimes take away from the meaning and the movement. Not a popular thing for a white guy to say, but it's my honest opinion.
It's a complicated world we live in, Mark.
Well, what controversial opinion you just put out there. All right, friends, there you go. In the first half of today's show, we've walked you through managing your expectations. Our audience wrote in and we told them that they were all wrong. And then we looked at illustrator Mark Knight. We talked about the illustration. What did he do right? What did he do wrong? We sort of critiqued the moment in sports. We agreed that Serena Williams has every right to be fucking angry and mad because it's her goddamn career and it matters to her. And that fire in her belly is why she is the greatest celebrated athlete of all time. She's a GOAT.
I'm just looking through, I mean, all of his illustrations, I'm sorry, I know we're kind of done with the subject, but all of his illustrations, every character is grotesque.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But are they racist?
Well, honestly, I haven't seen any other black people drawings.
I wonder if I wasn't doing the show right now, I would love to know what the other racist one that he did was, because they said it's twice in 1 month.
Yeah.
I wish that you ever had an idea that was long enough that I could read while you were talking.
Sorry. Oh God, it's such an interesting topic from an illustrator's standpoint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of just like, well, how do I make a political cartoon out of Barack Obama without it looking racist? You know what I mean? And I think Barack, he's so iconic looking, and you give him the big ears and the whole thing. And I think people have really done a great job of it. But I bet you some people were accused of being racist.
But the thing with O, and I love him to death, is you make the decision. Let's focus on the ears and let's leave the nose and lips alone.
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
And
you're right.
You just know these things. This Washington Post, the failing Amazon Washington Post, it says, in doing so, Knight draws facial features reflecting the dehumanizing Jim Crow characters, so common in the 19th and 20th centuries. Knight's cartoon conjures up a range of such caricatures that were branded on memorabilia and popularized on stage and screen of the era, including the minstrel show character Topsy, born out of Uncle Tom's Cabin, as well as the title character in the 1899 Little Black Sambo.
Yeah, this is interesting. You know, last year, almost a little over a year ago, we were working on a poster for the House Theater of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And the main character on the poster was a young little African-American Girl Scout, Boy Scout, call it a Scout. And they had us change the eyes on it because we had to try a couple different eyes out because somebody commented that the eyes looked a little like a racist drawing.
Really?
And we didn't see it at all. We were like, what are you talking about? This is like, because originally the character wasn't even African American, right? It was just a little white girl, and they're like, oh, you know what, we need to let's think about making her black. And we're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. So it just boom, do it. Didn't change the eyes at all, you know? And so it's sort of an interesting, from an illustrator standpoint, it's really interesting because like our intention wasn't to make anything racist or offensive or anything, you know what I mean? Anything like that. This was actually this character was the hero in the poster.
Yeah.
It was who you're supposed to look up to and cheer for and root for. So when I'm saying that, I'm not defending Mark Price here,
Mark Knight,
whatever. But he really might deep down have never even occurred to him that his characterization was racist.
I can't believe that for a second. There's two. He didn't accidentally do one thing. He accidentally did like a dozen things that are wrong in this illustration.
Yeah,
it's too much. It is. If you Googled racist illustration of black person, you would see 1,000 things that look like this.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. But, man, that's so interesting that you say that, Mark, because I feel like that visual shorthand is sort of ingrained into our subconscious as a culture, society,
right.
And as individuals. So, in a way, it could have just come out subconsciously.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, like, because of where I come from, the way that I was raised, if I was illustrating a black person for a job, I know all the triggers to stay away from. I know all of the things to avoid, all of the things not to do. And I would have a politically correct style guide in my mind. I think, okay, I've been hired to make Serena Williams look like a crybaby and that she has a temper. I know all the things that I'm not doing. I mean, the only thing he didn't do was put the broken racket in her hair as a bone. I mean, that's the only thing that he didn't do here.
No, listen, I completely agree with you. I'm just devil's advocating here. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
no, I know. And I understand too, like it's frustrating when you just do an illustration of a character and they're like, oh, actually, can you make her an African American? You do that, and then someone's like, then that changes everything. It's like, whoa, those eyes feel a little offensive. And you're like, those eyes were fine a minute ago. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I said in the opening here is that Americans, there's so many Americans that are trying to do the right thing about racism that we kind of overreact and freeze sometimes. Whereas other parts of the world, they're just kind of like, whatever, dude.
Yeah. Very interesting.
It is interesting. If you were him, what would you do if you like, so let's just say that it was a pure fucking accident. Like, let's say the illustration of a culture maybe you're not that familiar with, you know, and you just like, oh, I didn't know that this was an anti-Muslim characteristic. I just thought, you know, the guy that they had me draw has sort of a bigger nose, and I didn't know that I accidentally did this character that's like a bad thing, or you know, I made his ears too big, and that's an unsacred thing to do to Allah or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
If you fell into it and it for sure was an accident, would you? I mean, it looks like he had to private up his accounts or his fucking iPhone was going to explode. But would you just like lay low and maybe work on a new style? Would you come out with a formal apology? Would you maybe illustrate an apology? Like, I mean, is there any, like, do you see a play here for this guy other than just maybe disappear for 6 months?
I think your second option is perfect. I think formal apology with a cartoon apology. There's a great way for him to rectify the situation by drawing Serena like doing something to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when he draws Serena this time, she's not going to look like a racist Sambo character.
Right.
I think that's actually good. That's a good strategy to do. And, you know, I don't know. Do you think people there is something about collective outrage that people really get off on these days because of Twitter and social media and the internet. And so we create these groups, and every 4 days there seems to be a new collective outrage about something. And because it gives people an adrenaline hit, an endorphin hit. You know what I'm saying? That being said, are people ready? Can people forgive people for even after they apologize anymore?
I think it always depends on the apology, and there are so many people right now that are going through a moment in time where they feel such anger and despair for things that are largely out of their control. Like, what do you do about kids getting taken away from their families? Like, you can't really do anything about that. So when somebody stumbles into your world who's one person, you know they did something wrong, and you have direct access to take out your rage on them. Mark Knight is getting all the shit for everything that everybody did the last 200 fucking years, you know?
No,
and he becomes the, quote, poster boy for all of this rage, because people right now, you're just getting fucked with all the time, and so many of the things that we see aren't the vision of the future or the place that we want to identify with. So you just got this rage stewing in you, and you find a place that you can just dump it out, like fucking Mark's just there just getting fucking bukkake by rage.
Oh, it's interesting.
All right, let's roll into our circle of trust, where Billy decided that's where we would give a Gallery F update. As you remember, on last week's episode, I asked Billy, when we were talking about clients and managing your career, I said, Billy, what do you do when you have a client that maybe doesn't pay you? And Billy got off of his chest in a very professional and a very personal way. He shared a story of how they'd done some work with Gallery F in Chicago, and there was a rather large unpaid sum of money that Billy believes that is due to Delicious Design League.
That's absolutely true.
Okay,
you've summed it up well.
Thank you.
I'm actually just anxiously hearing. I want to hear about this follow up.
Well, everybody will hear it coming up in part 2 of the Circle of Trust. Hey, to hear the second part of today's show, head over to aidpodcast.com. Do what? Do this. Sign up. Become a member of the Circle of Trust. Unlock the second part of today's episode and our archive of over 800 conversations just like the one you heard today, where we talk about things that are informative, we talk about things that are funny, hopefully things that are educational, all while trying to have a good time. We work hard for you while you work hard on whatever it is that you do. All right, let's get into part 2 right now. And we will talk about the ongoing saga of Gallery F. Thank you for listening to Adventures in Design podcast. To hear part 2 of today's episode, visit adventuresin.design. Click where it says Circle of Trust and help support the only daily talk show designed for creative professionals just like you. Thank you for listening. Good day and good design.